Behind the glass walls of her office, a silent enemy was waiting. Betrayal wasn't coming from strangers, it was coming from family. And when the truth finally came out, the entire company would never forget what happened that night. The office was alive with noise. Phones rang endlessly, keyboards clicked, employees rushed from desk to desk. Every corner held urgency, deadlines, and ambition. In the middle of it all sat Emily Thompson. Her glass-walled office overlooked the city, the skyline a reflection of her hard work. Today was important. Today she had a promotion. She scanned the quarterly reports, her eyes sharp. Every number, every detail had to be perfect. Her phone buzzed. Tom, her colleague and friend, leaned against the doorway. "Emily, lunch today?" he asked, his voice casual. "I can't, Tom," she replied, hiding her excitement. "Big meeting with the CEO in an hour." Tom gave her a knowing smile. "Good luck. You deserve it." Across the office, Rachel Adams watched. Emily's cousin, her smile polite, but her eyes cold. "Congratulations, Emily. I guess hard work does pay off," Rachel said, her words sharp, her tone sharper. Emily noticed the subtle sting. Something was off. Rachel had always been ambitious, but this was different. Days passed, and Emily began noticing the small jabs, comments that seemed innocent to others. "Oh, I didn't know you were running the show now," Rachel said one morning, smirking. "Be careful. The higher you go, the harder you fall," she added casually. Emily brushed it off. She had work to do, deadlines to meet. She didn't have time for family politics. But that night, a message arrived anonymous, threatening. A leak of confidential company data. If true, it could destroy her career. She stared at the message, her mind racing. Who would do this? Who would want to see her fail? Little did she know, the culprit was closer than she thought. Emily's new role meant Rachel now reported to her. Tension grew with every passing day. Meetings were awkward. Rachel's eyes always seemed to follow her, filled with resentment. Emily tried to focus on her projects. Her life had been a long climb to reach this position. She wouldn't let anyone derail her, not even family. Yet, in the shadows, Rachel's plan was already in motion. Emily was blindsided a week later. A major board meeting. She walked in, confident. Her projects were ready. Her reports were complete. She smiled at Mr. Reynolds, the CEO, a man strict but fair who respected hard work. "Emily, your report looks good," he said, glancing at her files. Then, his expression changed. "Where are these documents?" he demanded. "And why are these projects delayed?" Emily's stomach dropped. She knew she had completed everything. Tom leaned in, whispering, "Emily, someone is setting you up. I saw Rachel sneaking into your office last week." Her heart sank. It had to be her cousin. Betrayal, close and personal, cut deeper than any professional setback. Emily's mind raced. She couldn't confront Rachel blindly. She needed proof. She needed a plan. Emily's office became her refuge and her war room. Every detail was scrutinized. Every email, every document, every interaction logged in her mind. She started noticing Rachel's patterns. Late-night office visits, secretive phone calls, subtle manipulations of colleagues. She realized her promotion had triggered envy. Rachel couldn't stand to see someone she considered her equal succeed where she had failed. The betrayal was personal. Yet Emily did not panic. She took a deep breath, her mind calculating the steps ahead. She would fight, but she would fight smart. The first signs of confrontation began with subtle tests. Emily deliberately left certain documents slightly unprotected, observing reactions. Rachel, as Emily suspected, took the bait. Each move she made was carefully noted, each misstep recorded. Tom noticed the shift in Emily's demeanor. "You're different," he said quietly one afternoon. "I have to be," Emily replied. "She's dangerous, and this isn't just about work anymore." Even the HR manager, Sophia, began noticing the tension. One day she pulled Emily aside. "Rachel is not someone to underestimate," she warned. "She ruins lives. Be careful." Emily nodded, a steely determination settling in her eyes. This wasn't just a battle for her career. It was a battle for respect, for justice, for survival. By the end of the first part of this journey, the stage was set. Emily Thompson, strong, intelligent, and relentless, had recognized the threat. Rachel Adams, envious, manipulative, and ruthless, was lurking, ready to strike. And the war of ambition was about to begin. Emily couldn't sleep that night. Her mind replayed the board meeting over and over. Every missing file, every delayed project, every angry glance from Mr. Reynolds, it all felt deliberate. And deep down, she knew who was behind it. The next morning, she arrived at the office earlier than usual. The city outside gleamed, indifferent, but inside her heart raced. She needed answers. Every glance at Rachel reminded her of the threat lingering in her own family. Emily began her quiet investigation. She watched Rachel closely, meetings at odd hours, conversations whispered in corners, handshakes exchanged with people Emily didn't recognize. Every detail, every pattern mattered. Tom noticed her vigilance. "Emily, you're obsessed," he said gently, though concern colored his tone. "I can't afford not to be," Emily replied, her voice calm but firm. "She's trying to destroy me, Tom, and I won't let her." Emily discovered a crucial piece of information. Rachel was meeting someone unknown outside the office. Emily trailed her cousin discreetly, careful not to be noticed. Late at night, she observed a dark figure exchanging envelopes with Rachel in a deserted parking garage. The sight sent a chill down her spine. "This isn't just office politics," Emily whispered to herself. "It's personal, and it's dangerous." She started documenting everything: conversations, emails, even small gestures that might seem insignificant to anyone else. Every step Rachel took became part of a growing map of deceit. Emily's mind raced. She had to plan carefully. A wrong move could destroy her career or, worse, give Rachel an upper hand. She devised a strategy. Step 1, gain Rachel's trust again, at least enough to make her careless. Step 2, gather undeniable evidence. Step 3, expose her publicly in a way that couldn't be denied. And Step 4, ensure legal protection through HR and compliance channels. It was a careful, calculated plan. Emily wasn't just fighting back. She was preparing a counterattack that would leave Rachel no room to maneuver. Meanwhile, small personal threads started weaving into the story. Tom remained Emily's confidant. His support became a quiet anchor. "You don't have to do this alone," he said one evening as they stayed late reviewing files. "I know," Emily replied, her eyes focused on the documents. "But some battles, you have to fight yourself." Despite the tension, there were subtle moments of warmth. A shared joke here, a hand on a shoulder there. Emily felt the weight of the fight, but Tom reminded her she wasn't entirely alone. Sophia, the HR manager, also became a quiet ally. She had observed Rachel for years, a woman capable of subtle, ruthless manipulation. "She's dangerous, Emily," Sophia whispered one afternoon, leaning close so no one could hear. "She doesn't just play dirty. She ruins careers, friendships, even families. Don't underestimate her." Emily nodded. Sophia's warning confirmed her suspicions. She had to move carefully or risk losing everything. The mysterious stranger entered the story next. Emily discovered he was a hacker Rachel had bribed to leak company secrets. A hidden ally or a hidden threat, he remained unknown until Emily decided to reach out cautiously. She offered him a deal: help expose Rachel's schemes in exchange for protection and immunity. The hacker agreed, intrigued by Emily's resolve and the scope of the deception. From that point on, Emily had a silent partner, someone who could uncover the technical evidence she couldn't reach on her own. Emily's first move was subtle but brilliant. She created a fake project with highly sensitive data. It was left deliberately visible on her desk, an irresistible target for Rachel. Cameras discreetly recorded the scene. Rachel took the bait. She snatched the files, unaware that every moment was captured. Later, Emily leaked Rachel's bribery attempt to Mr. Reynolds and HR. Evidence compiled. Patterns revealed. A web of deceit was slowly unraveling. The confrontation was drawing near. Every move Rachel made increased her own risk. Her arrogance became her weakness. Rachel's panic was evident when Emily confronted her privately one evening. "Emily, it wasn't supposed to go this far," Rachel whispered, her voice trembling. Emily's smile was cold, measured. "It's always been far, Rachel. Far too far for me to ignore." The office atmosphere changed. Colleagues sensed the tension, the quiet battle that no one dared speak of. Every email, every meeting became a potential battlefield. Emily's presence grew sharper, her every glance more calculated. Emily carefully orchestrated her next moves. She strengthened her alliances, both with Tom and with Sophia. She ensured the hacker's involvement remained discreet but effective. Every layer of protection was in place. She even discovered that Rachel had begun planting misinformation with senior colleagues, attempting to create diversions. Emily caught it all, documenting each attempt meticulously. The trap was nearly complete. The pieces were falling into place. Rachel was walking straight into Emily's hands, unaware that her own ambition was about to be her undoing. By the end of this phase, Emily was no longer just reacting. She was leading the fight. Every strategy, every calculated risk brought her closer to the inevitable confrontation. Rachel's envy had blinded her. Her manipulations had made her careless, and Emily, strong, intelligent, and determined, was ready to exploit every misstep. The stage was set. The players were in position. And soon, the office would witness the collision of ambition, betrayal, and revenge. The office had grown tense. Every glance, every whispered conversation carried weight. Emily felt the pulse of danger in every corner. Rachel's manipulations were becoming bolder, more aggressive, yet Emily's calm, calculated presence kept her one step ahead. Late one evening, Emily stayed behind, reviewing Rachel's patterns. Tom came by quietly, concern etched on his face. "You're taking this too far," he said softly. "You're obsessed." "I can't afford not to be," Emily replied, her voice steady. "She's trying to destroy me, Tom, and if I let her, everything I've worked for, everything I am, will be gone." Tom studied her. "Just don't lose yourself in this fight." Emily nodded. She understood. Revenge was a dangerous game, but she was ready to play smart. Emily's investigation uncovered a shocking revelation. The mysterious stranger, the hacker who had been assisting her discreetly, was more than he seemed. He was Rachel's half-brother, a man with a personal vendetta against her, hidden for years. Initially loyal to Rachel, he had switched sides. Emily didn't know why, but his testimony and insider knowledge would be crucial. He provided evidence of bribes, stolen files, and secret communications between Rachel and the hacker network she had paid off. The tension inside Emily's mind was electric. The other pieces of the puzzle were coming together. She could see the entire web of deceit clearly now. Rachel's arrogance had blinded her. Her desperation made her careless. Meanwhile, Rachel's paranoia grew. She sensed the office was closing in on her schemes. Missteps became more frequent. She began spreading rumors, attempting to manipulate other senior colleagues, trying to cover her tracks. Emily quietly documented every move. Each lie, each act of sabotage was recorded. Emily also set up subtle traps to catch Rachel in compromising situations. Every action Rachel took played into Emily's strategy. Tom remained a constant support, offering quiet encouragement and emotional stability. "Emily, you don't have to face this alone," he reminded her one night as they walked through the empty office corridors. "I know," Emily replied. "But some battles, you have to fight alone." Despite the darkness of her mission, Emily allowed herself these small moments of humanity. It was what kept her grounded, reminded her why she fought so fiercely. Sophia, the HR manager, became another layer of support. She had been watching Rachel for years and had noticed the subtle, destructive patterns of her manipulations. "She's dangerous," Sophia warned quietly, leaning close so no one else could hear. "She doesn't just play dirty, she ruins lives. Be careful, Emily." Emily absorbed the warning and integrated it into her plan. Every ally, every insight mattered. The final confrontation would require precision. The tension escalated when Emily discovered another betrayal. Rachel had planted a mole in the senior management team, a trusted colleague who was secretly feeding her information and creating diversions to protect Rachel's schemes. Emily carefully exposed him, using subtlety and discretion to prevent panic. The mole's removal strengthened her position. Every layer of Rachel's web was being dismantled. Emily's plan became a delicate dance. She set up a staged vulnerability in her office, a fake confidential project left in plain sight. She knew Rachel couldn't resist. Cameras captured the moment Rachel took the files. Rachel's panic was immediate when she realized the stakes were higher than she had imagined. She whispered to herself, "Emily, it wasn't supposed to go this far." Emily's response was cold and measured. "It's always been far, Rachel, far too far for me to ignore." The office atmosphere was electric. Colleagues noticed tension, unspoken rivalry. Every meeting, every interaction carried hidden meaning. Every glance between Emily and Rachel was loaded with unspoken threats. Meanwhile, Emily continued to gather technical evidence through the hacker. She had emails, call logs, financial transactions, and even subtle manipulations that Rachel had attempted. The puzzle was almost complete. The subplots added layers of suspense. Emily and Tom's subtle romance grew, unspoken yet palpable. A gentle touch, a shared smile, quiet moments in the chaos. These moments grounded Emily, reminding her of the stakes beyond revenge: love, loyalty, and trust. Sophia's quiet warnings and guidance became strategic support. Her insights helped Emily avoid missteps, anticipate Rachel's moves, and prepare for the ultimate confrontation. With each passing day, the tension mounted. Rachel's envy and desperation made her reckless. Emily's patience and strategy made her unstoppable. She knew the final confrontation was approaching. The gala, the annual company event, would be the perfect stage. Every piece of evidence, every ally, every subtle trap was in place. Emily's mind ran through the plan repeatedly. Every possibility considered. Every outcome accounted for. The game of ambition and betrayal had reached its tipping point. One misstep from Rachel, one calculated move from Emily, and the entire office would witness the fallout. By the end of part 3, the stage was set. Emily was ready, calm yet determined. Rachel's desperation was her weakness. The allies and evidence were in place. The tension was palpable, electric, and thick with suspense. The countdown to the ultimate confrontation had begun. The night of the company's annual gala arrived. The grand ballroom shimmered with chandeliers, glittering glass, and polished floors. Employees wore their finest laughter and polite conversations filling the air, but beneath the sparkle, tension ran thick. Emily walked through the crowd, composed yet focused. Every step was calculated, every glance measured. This was the night everything would come together. Before she presented her major project, she sought out Rachel. The two cousins stood alone for a moment, away from prying eyes. "You tried to destroy me, Rachel," Emily said quietly, her voice steady. "But I have everything you've done on tape." Rachel's face was drained of color. Her eyes flickered with panic. You won't ruin me," she stammered. Emily's eyes were cold. "Oh, but I already have." Rachel tried to retreat, but Emily's presence was unyielding. She had anticipated this moment, every reaction calculated. The games, the lies, the manipulations, it was all about to collapse. As Emily stepped onto the stage to present her project, the evidence of Rachel's betrayal subtly began to unfold. Confidential files, bribes, and manipulations were exposed discreetly on the screens behind her. The room went silent. Every eye turned toward Rachel. Mr. Reynolds, the CEO, stepped forward, his expression a mixture of shock and disbelief. "Rachel, is this true?" Rachel stuttered, her voice shaking. No, The proof was irrefutable. Every email, every secret meeting, every attempt to sabotage Emily was documented and undeniable. Her lies crumbled in the open, witnessed by the entire company. Then came the first shocking twist. The mysterious stranger, previously, and assumed to be an unknown hacker, appeared in the crowd. He stepped forward, revealing himself as Rachel's half-brother. "I know everything," he said, his voice calm but firm. "And I will not let her manipulate this company any longer. Emily has been honest and diligent, while Rachel tried to destroy her at every step." Rachel's expression turned to horror. Her own family had turned against her. The room murmured, the revelations spreading like wildfire, the drama intensified. Emily revealed another layer of betrayal, a senior colleague whom Rachel had bribed to act as a mole. This trusted employee had tried to manipulate company decisions to Rachel's favor. Emily presented evidence of his collusion, exposing him to HR and the board. Rachel's desperate attempts to defend herself were futile. Her manipulations, her envy, her ambition, everything was laid bare. Tom, standing quietly near the stage, felt a mix of relief and pride. Emily had not only defended her career, but also exposed a dangerous web of deceit. The confrontation was not just professional, it was deeply personal. Emily's calm and strategic approach had outmaneuvered Rachel at every turn. Every trap, every subtle maneuver, every carefully planned move culminated in this moment. Rachel, realizing her defeat, whispered, You think this is over?" Emily's gaze was unwavering. "This is just the beginning of lessons you should have learned years ago." The room held its breath. Every employee, every manager, every colleague witnessed the fall of someone who had hidden behind envy and manipulation for too long. But the night wasn't done with surprises. Another twist emerged. The mysterious stranger, Rachel's half-brother, revealed the hacker network Rachel had bribed. Financial trails, encrypted messages, and evidence of deliberate sabotage were exposed. The extent of Rachel's deceit shocked even the senior management. Emily had not only protected herself but also ensured the company's integrity. Her careful planning, patience, and strategic mind had turned the tables completely. Despite her victory, Emily felt a pang of sadness. Ambition, betrayal, revenge, they came with consequences. Relationships were tested, trust shattered, and innocence lost. The battle had been won, but the cost was clear. Tom approached her as the gala continued around them. "You did it," he said softly, pride and relief in his voice. Emily smiled faintly. "Yes, but power, trust, ambition, they're fragile. And sometimes the shadows are still out there, waiting." Rachel was escorted out, fired and humiliated. Her schemes were destroyed. Every attempt to cover her tracks had failed. The consequences were real and immediate. Even as Emily celebrated quietly with Tom, a sense of unease lingered. The office lights dimmed, and a shadow lingered outside the glass walls of the corporate tower. Someone watched, observed, patient, waiting. Emily didn't notice immediately, but the instinct for vigilance lingered in her mind. The city skyline sparkled, but ambition and envy never slept. Her phone buzzed with a new message. Another anonymous tip. Another challenge. Emily read it calmly, lips curling into a subtle, determined smile. "Bring it on," she whispered. The night ended, but the story was far from over. The shadows had not yet revealed their full game, and Emily Thompson, resilient and calculated, was ready for whatever came next. Rachel was gone. Fired, humiliated. Her manipulations were exposed for all to see. The office was buzzing with whispers, but Emily remained calm. She had faced betrayal, deceit, and danger, and emerged victorious. Tom joined her quietly in the empty office after the gala. "It's over, Emily," he said softly, his voice filled with relief. Emily looked out at the city skyline, the lights reflecting off the glass towers. "It's over. For now," she said, her tone thoughtful. "But the war of ambition never really ends." Tom raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Emily smiled faintly. "Power, jealousy, they never sleep. And in the shadows, there are always those waiting for their chance." She turned back to her desk, where files were neatly organized, evidence stored safely, every detail accounted for. Her career, her reputation, and her integrity were intact, but she knew this victory was only part of a much larger game. Emily reflected on everything that had happened. Betrayal had come from the closest of all, her own cousin. She realized trust was fragile, and the office, with its glass walls and polished floors, was a battlefield where loyalty was rare. She remembered Sophia's warning: "She ruins lives." Now Emily fully understood. Rachel had tried to destroy her, but Emily's intelligence, patience, and careful planning had turned the tables completely. Yet, victory had a price: sleepless nights, constant vigilance, and the awareness that shadows always lurked, waiting for the smallest weakness. As she stood by the window, her phone buzzed. Another message appeared. Anonymous, cryptic, threatening. A reminder that danger never truly disappears. Emily read it carefully. The words were vague, but the implication was clear. The challenges weren't over. She placed the phone down and took a deep breath. "Bring it on," she whispered, a quiet determination in her voice. Outside the office, a shadowy figure watched her through the glass walls. Silent, patient, observing, waiting. No one knew their intentions, but Emily instinctively felt the presence. She didn't know this person, but she sensed that her next challenge would be even more dangerous, more personal. The office lights dimmed, the city skyline glittered, but the calm was deceptive. Behind every polished surface, every quiet corner, ambition and betrayal could strike again. Emily Thompson, resilient, intelligent, and strong, was ready. She had learned the hard way, only that in this world, battles never truly end, they only evolve. Emily turned back to Tom, who had been quietly watching her. "We did what we had to do," he said. "Yes," she agreed, "but I'll be ready for whoever thinks they can cross me next." They shared a quiet moment of relief. The immediate threat, Rachel, was gone, but the tension of what lay ahead lingered. They both knew the office, the city, and ambition itself would bring new challenges. The shadowy figure disappeared as silently as they had arrived. The city hummed outside. Life continued, seemingly ordinary, yet the air was thick with unseen dangers. Emily's battle had been won, but the game of trust, betrayal, and revenge was far from over. Her eyes narrowed, her mind already strategizing for the future. Every decision, every move, every ally or adversary, everything mattered now. Emily was ready for the next challenge. Emily's voiceover reflected the story's moral and suspenseful conclusion. I won this battle, but the war of ambition never ends, and in the shadows, there are always those waiting for their chance. I've learned who to trust, who to watch, and who to outsmart, and I will be ready always. The screen fades to black. Suspenseful music rises, a new chapter looms. New threats, new shadows, new games.